Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome and thank you so much for joining us. My name is Scott Verhoeve, and I'm Director of Operations here at the Business and Education Partnership. We're a charity that helps young people in our community explore and prepare for the world of work. And we're hosting this webinar with the Waterloo Region and Waterloo Catholic District School Boards to help assist you with your next steps after your OYAP program. Before we get started, we want to acknowledge that the land on which we gather on today is traditionally used by the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and Neutral peoples. We acknowledge and endure we acknowledge the enduring presence, deep traditional knowledge, and laws and philosophies of Indigenous people with whom we share this land today. Today's session will include short presentations from representatives from Starling Employment Services, ApprenticeSearch.com, and the OYAP coordinators for the Waterloo Region and Waterloo Catholic District School Boards. Afterwards, we will have time to answer any questions that you may have, which you can type into the Q&A button in Zoom at any time. So your camera and mic are off for privacy reasons, but at any point that you have a question, feel free to answer it or ask it rather in the Q&A section, and we will either type an answer if it's very specific, or at the end we will answer those verbally for everyone to hear. So we're very excited to have you join us and very excited to call our first speaker up to the camera. Nicole Sousa is an employment specialist with Starling Employment Services. We're very excited to have her come to the camera here, share her screen, and provide some information about next steps after high school and services that they provide for students like yourself. Take it away, Erin, or take it away, Nicole, I should say.
Thanks, Scott. Wait, let me get this up and running. All right. So good evening, everyone. As Scott mentioned, my name is Nicole Sousa, and I work as an employment specialist with Starling Community Services. Specifically, Starling Employment Services is kind of where I work. So what's next after OYAP, and how can Starling kind of help you out? So what do we do in employment services, and what do we offer? So there's a variety of different things that we kind of support individuals with when it comes to job search. So specifically, we work one-to-one to help with exploring career options, finding and keeping a job, getting support with planning what are those steps or what are those things that we need to get settled into before we kind of get into that job. So planning out that career, setting very specific goals, working on resumes and cover letters to kind of help with job interviews, and then assisting with preparing for those interviews by providing you with interview tips and strategies, completing practice interviews, talking about the hidden job market. Everything is kind of to support you with finding employment. So whether that's looking at what are those skills that are needed, or what are those interview pieces that we need to work on to get or keep that job. Okay. So our services are completely free, and there's a couple of different pieces that come along with services. So everyone would have access to our resource centers. So our centers are where there are computers. You can write your resume there. You can do job searching there, or anything that's kind of related to employment. There's always a resource advisor or an available employment staff within the resource center that can support you with making minor changes to the resume if they have some time available, or even helping you with like printing out those hard copies if you wanted to go, say, in person to hand out those resumes, or if you did have an interview and just needed a copy to provide that interviewer, then you can do that. We also provide workshops. Currently, we have workshops on interviews and then workshops on specifically job search strategies and kind of how to access that hidden job market. We provide information on job fairs, career fairs, resource fairs to kind of help you stay informed on when you can access employers and when you can meet them face to face. And then other events, including anything employment related. We do update everyone with labor market information as well so that you can remain informed. So typically support is one-to-one with an advisor or consultant, and they work closely together to kind of support individuals with that job search. So with the advisor, it's all of the resumes, interviews, cover letters, and then the consultants would provide support with employer connections. And then we also have Better Jobs Ontario applications, but currently it's more assessing for the program, and then you would be referred out for the entire application. So that one-to-one job search assistance, so support with resume and cover letter writing. One of the things that advisors focus on is what type of career or employment goal do we have, and then looking at what are the skills that are needed and that we want to highlight specifically on that resume and cover letter. Resumes tend to be our first step into job search and into getting us an interview. So the advisors would work closely with you to kind of figure out what exactly we need on that resume to start getting those interviews. Identifying in-demand skills within the trades, so looking at the trade that you're specifically interested in and then focusing on adding those skills on the resume, and then how do we mention those skills when we're talking to employers. Providing you with effective job search strategies, so different tips and strategies on how do we conduct that job search piece specifically online, or if we're more interested in going in person, then how do we approach going in person in the world that is kind of rapidly changing to fully online. Interview preparations, so practice interviews to work on those interviewing skills, discussing the different types or formats that interviews can happen in, and then preparing with questions that might come up in interviews, and then what is the purpose of that preparation, or why do we want to prepare ahead of time. And then one of the other things that advisors can do is exploring alternative education or different educational or training options. If we're looking at career shifts, then we can explore different career options and looking at what does the labor market tell us about those careers, and then maybe what are those first steps or those first entry-level jobs that we can look at when looking at that career shift. So as I mentioned, we work in service teams. So your advisor is going to help with all of the things that I just mentioned. And then with your advisor, they're going to be attached to an employment consultant. So what kind of support can you expect, or what kind of support is available from those consultants when you're working with them? Okay. So the support that an employment consultant can offer is they tend to work really, really closely with our network of employers and job seekers. So anyone that's registered with us to kind of look at what are the support needs for the employers that are currently hiring, and do they match with the goals of the individual that's registered with us. We really try to make sure that we provide as many job leads as we can to all individuals registered to kind of support with interviews and then landing a job. But more specifically, we really try to look at what is the goal of the person who's seeking that job, and then how can we support with building those connections. Okay, so what that kind of looks like is sometimes we have our consultants then reach out to some employers of interest for individuals. So if there's a specific electrical company or plumbing company within the Waterloo region that you've highlighted you're really interested in working with, then we would ask that consultant to kind of make a connection and hopefully facilitate an opportunity for you to interview for any possible openings that they might have. They really work closely with those employers to match specifically to what they're looking for. So we would work closely with the advisor as well to kind of make those changes to the resume to reflect the skills that the job seeker has to the skills that the employer is looking for, and then supporting with interviews as well. The other thing that consultants do is kind of go out within the community. They connect with as many employers as they can, but they kind of provide a lot of labor market information and additional things that are going to support with that job search. Okay, so as I kind of mentioned, they do tend to look at what the current labor market is when it comes to specific jobs, different areas or even industries. They're kind of on the lookout for anything that might be something that would be of interest. So one of the things that consultants will do is sometimes if we've been in a job search for a while, we might be looking at something more on the survival side where we're just kind of take it for now while we continue to work together to find more of that career. So they kind of look at what are those potential leads, and then what are those maybe similar positions that we could do before we get into that career option. Okay. So with all that, it's kind of like networking on your behalf. So they kind of build that network that they can connect with so that you can also access that hidden job market. They always provide postings. I would say on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. They share tons of good information, and then they would always connect with you prior to an opportunity to make sure it's something that aligns with what you're looking for. We do also offer support with placements or training incentives. So that is another perk of kind of working with our services, is we can then let employers know that we can support with that training cost because it can be quite high. Okay. But yeah, so employment consultants and advisors do work very, very closely together. I know for myself personally, I'm constantly talking to the consultant within my service team to kind of update her on what's going on with the job seekers that we're currently supporting. And then just letting her know what updates we've got. And if there's job seekers who have been looking for employment for a while, we kind of work even closely together to kind of see what options we can help them out with. In terms of who can participate with our services, so within the Employ Next program eligibility, typically we need to be 18 years of age or older. Anyone who's kind of 15 to 17 within that range, we do require either a SAL or that you've completed your high school. You must be a resident of Ontario, eligible to work in Canada. There might be some additional suitability criteria that can be assessed by program staff, but typically as long as you meet our eligibility, then we kind of register you for services. If there's any questions about that suitability, or you feel like maybe it might be a program that you can do, and you want to ask further questions about why it might not be suitable, please feel free to do so. So we do have 3 separate locations. So if you're interested in connecting with our services, you can do so again at any time. Typically the fastest way is kind of walk in, have a conversation. We might ask you a bit of questions around what kind of support you're looking for. Everyone kind of receives different support. So if anyone's interested, please come on in. We have our Kitchener-Cambridge office. We also have a Guelph office if anyone is in Guelph. You can either call into the office, walk in, or I believe you can do an inquiry through our website as well if anyone's interested. Thank you all for your time, and I look forward to connecting with some of you.
Thanks so much, Nicole. Appreciate that. I think again, first, people who haven't had the need or the opportunity to connect with these kinds of services before are really helpful to know that this exists for them outside of the community and outside of school, right? So you've perhaps had a guidance counselor that you could go to get this kind of advice, but know that there's free services out in the community that you can access, helping you find those different positions in your trade, potentially apprenticeship. Those sorts of supports are out there. And it's a great segue to our next speaker. So it is now my pleasure to introduce Emily McCormack, Program Manager, sharing another great resource, apprenticesearch.com. Take it away, Emily.
Thank you so much. Let me just share my screen. There we go. We can see that okay?
You got it.
Perfect. Okay. Hi, everybody. So I am from apprenticesearch.com. And as mentioned, my name is Emily McCormack. I'm a program coordinator and facilitator for the organization, which basically just means I get to do a lot of this. I get to tell people about our programs and what we do. So I want to talk about finding employment in the skilled trades, the registration process to be on our website, and also some of our programs and services that we offer. But first, who we even are at apprenticesearch.com. So apprenticesearch.com is a free online job search and matching platform with an exclusive focus on apprenticeship trade positions across Canada. And we're more than just a technological solution to job search. We also offer support and guidance to both employers and apprentices. What I really like about our services is we are real people. We're working behind the scenes. We're not AI. And we work with both the employers looking to take on apprentices and those looking to start an apprenticeship. So it kind of works out really well that we get to connect those 2 groups together. And we are across Canada. So a little bit about some of our services for job seekers. So you create a profile with us. With that profile, you can actually search and apply to jobs that are posted on our website. You can also sign up for one-on-one job coaching with us, and it really is personalized support. We're going to meet you where you're at, so we can help make sure that you have a skill trade specific resume, cover letter, interview prep. But also, if we're past that point, we won't worry about that. We can help with things as well, like intake tests. Or maybe you do get an offer, we can help you negotiate that offer. And we work with people at all levels of their apprenticeship. I know we're just starting now, right at the beginning, but if later on you're at a level 3 and you're looking for a new employer, we can help you still and continue to support you. Also, you can register for our skill trade exploration and employment programs and our networking and mentorship programs, which I'm going to talk about more at the end of this presentation. But I did want to talk a little bit about finding employment in the skill trades because we do work with both the employer and the apprentice. So we kind of get to see it from both groups. But let's talk about the steps to an apprenticeship. First, exploring your career options. And if you are in that OYAP, you'd probably have already done this quite a bit, which is amazing. You've gotten some hands-on experience, seeing what you like and what you want to do. And then you create that plan of action. Are we doing, the traditional apprenticeship route? What route's going to be the best for us? And then you can register with us at apprenticesearch.com. But to be honest, we'll help you with career options as well. If you're still maybe between a few trades, you're not really sure, we can help you with that. Once you register with apprenticesearch.com, we're going to help you secure that employer or sponsor. And then that's when you get registered with Skilled Trades Ontario as an apprentice, which we have also helped in this area as well. Sometimes we have employers who are a little bit nervous. They've never taken on an apprentice before, so we help them with that registration process, walk them through it, explain it to them. And then you complete your apprenticeship and become certified in your trade, and you are a licensed journey person, which is pretty exciting. Let's talk about what employers are looking for. First, previously related experience, and it doesn't necessarily have to be work experience. So doing an OYAP is going to be amazing experience. It's going to look so good on your resume. But also sometimes people have project cars at home and they like to kind of fix them up themselves. So we've helped clients who that's been a passion for them find apprenticeships. Or any way where you're using tools, it just shows that you have an interest, you have a passion for it. I just met a woman who does welding as an art form, and now she wants to start welding professionally. So employers are going to love her because she already has that passion and knowledge about welding, and now she's just putting it to more of a different use. So again, if you just have experience with tools, it's going to be really beneficial. Certifications. So great thing about getting certifications is it shows that you've done your research into the trade already. You've already invested your own time. And I know through OYAP you can get some really great certifications as well. So maybe you already have some certifications, which I love. But if we are kind of looking at a trade and we want to know what certifications to get, we can advise you on that and help you get those. So things like WMIS are always good to get. But let's say you want to be a power line technician. Well, definitely we want working at heights. Or maybe you're interested in being an HVAC. Well, we want to make sure you get your gas fitter's license. So we can advise you on which of those certifications are going to help you in your trade of interest. Availability that fits their work schedule. So this is a really important thing when considering working in the trades. There can be very early mornings. You can be working shift work, evenings, weekends. So just making sure that's going to be okay for you and your life. Individuals with a driver's license or access to reliable transportation. This is a really big one. We are seeing more and more employers who do want someone with a driver's license. So if you don't have one now, it's okay. Don't panic, but it's going to definitely be a goal and we can help you get towards that goal. But we always think about what the employer's looking for. I always like to give the example of like a plumber. If you want to be a plumber, you're gonna have to get to lots of people's homes. It might not be on a bus route. You definitely might not be able to bring all the tools with you on a bus. So having that driver's license is going to be able to get you to more clients' homes quicker. Or maybe they have a company van and they want you to be able to take the van and go pick up materials and bring it back to site. So again, that driver's license is a really helpful thing to have in the skilled trades, and we can help you if you don't have that yet. Strong employability skills. We work with a lot of employers, and something that most of them say in one way or another is that they can teach you how to do any job. They can teach you how to use any tool. They can't teach you how to show up on time. They can't teach you how to work well with others. This is something we hear from so many employers. Showing up on time is a big deal in the trades. So having that skill and demonstrating it through your interview and showing up on time for those types of things will reflect really well on you. And of course, a strong resume. You're going to hear from lots of people about wanting to help you with your resume, and that's because it is so important to have a good resume. There is a high demand for skilled trade workers. Employers still want to hire the best of the best. And to show that you are the best is to have that resume that is, showing both your hard skills, what you've achieved, what you can do, but also your soft skills, who you are as a person. So the registration process to be on our website, a little bit about why you might want to register with us. It is free. There is no cost to be using our services. It's free for both the employers to work with us and for job seekers to work with us. We have over 5,000 employers who utilize our website for hiring. We review every single application when someone makes an account with us. So as a job seeker, when you make an account with us, you're going to be asked to upload a resume. Doesn't have to be perfect. But this is how we keep bots off our website. This is how we keep young kids off our website who aren't ready for apprenticeships yet. And the employers love that because we tell them everyone on our site is ready for work. They can approach anyone on our site. You can book one-on-one time with our staff. All the work that we do is virtual because we are across the country. And if you are looking to stay where you are, that's fantastic. We can help make that happen. If you're looking to move around a bit, we can also help make that happen as well. But yeah, book that one-on-one time with our staff, and it's really personalized support. We will help you wherever you are in your apprenticeship journey. We'll also obviously share job postings with you if we see something first and we know you're interested in it. We will definitely share that. You'll also hear about our programs and events. And whenever possible, we like to connect employers to wage subsidies just to offset that cost of taking on a first year apprentice. It is very simple to make a profile with us. So I'm just going to go through some of the steps. You will make an account at apprenticesearch.com. I'm going to ask that you do not use your school email because you are going to graduate and you may not have access to that email. And it also looks more professional to have your own job search email. So please create a new profile if you don't have one, whatever email you're going to be using for your job search. You go to apprenticesearch.com, you're registering as a job seeker. You will get confirmation from our team. It usually takes maximum 24 hours, usually much quicker than that, just because we do review every single application that comes through us. You're going to complete your profile. We're going to ask you some personal information. This is just so we can support you better. And upload that resume, which I talked about, which is the really only requirement to be on our website. And then you'll receive that approval from our team. And then you could start accessing our services. You could schedule that job coaching session. Great thing about it is you could see your job coach's schedule and you can book a time that works for you and it automatically sets up a Zoom call for both of you. And of course, you could start searching for jobs on our website as well. However, if you're not seeing too many job postings in your area, our site changes really quick. There's really quick turnover in our job postings because we want to fill them. We're not going to restrict you to our website. It's just another resource that we have. We will also help you with things like cold calling. We will help you, go out into the community because that can be scary sometimes picking up the phone or even walking in person. Skilled trades are still a little old-fashioned. Some people do love a physical resume and a handshake, and we can walk you through how to do that. Something else I like to mention is if you're thinking the union route, obviously unions can't post with us, but we can help you apply to any unions and we can help you with any intake tests as well. So a little bit about how to be successful on apprenticesearch.com. First off, fully complete your profile to the best of your ability. So we do ask some personal questions like I mentioned. Again, it's for us to support you. Identify the trades you want to pursue. And we do ask that you pick two trades of interest. Great thing about picking two trades is it opens more doors for you. And there's a lot of trades that are similar. So maybe you have one in mind, but talk to our team because you might be surprised that there's other trades you might want to do as well. I always say those who are interested in electrical work should look at power line technician. Those interested in plumbing should look at pipe fitting. Those interested in carpentry should also look at cabinet making. There is so many overlap between different trades that you might be surprised that you are interested in more than one. Upload a relevant resume. So you will upload a resume to make an account with us, but if you get any training, any new certifications, it's really important that you upload a new one because that's one employers on our site are going to see. Actively search for and apply to jobs. So on our site, we do have our job board, actively checking it regularly, applying to the jobs. Very rarely do the employers reach out to you. They can and they do, but more often than not, you will have to be the one applying to the jobs. And regularly check the site for updated positions. Again, we are working with these employers as well, so we are trying to get them an employee as quick as possible. So things go turn over really quick on our website. And of course, don't give up. We always like to say, don't give up. Maybe you go for that interview, and afterwards you find out you didn't get the job. That's okay. That's pretty normal. Most people do not get the first job they interview for. We don't want you to give up, though. We want you to come back to us and continue to work with us, and we can go over. Maybe it was the interview. Maybe we need to practice that a little bit more, make you feel more confident so that hopefully the next job you do get. Some of our programs and services I just want to go over quick. We do have a women in skilled trade peer mentorship group. So if you have any women on the call looking to get into the trades, this is an amazing group. I don't just say that because I host it, although that is one of the things I love about it. Basically, on the second Thursday of every month, we have a different guest speaker come online and talk about her work in the trades. What's worked well for her? What have been some challenges? What's her advice for other women looking to get into the trades? Because a lot of the time, if you are a woman in the trades, you might be the only one on your site. So sometimes it's just nice to be able to connect with a community. It's free to register for. Again, it's the second Thursday of every month. So that next week on Thursday, we have someone in HVAC who's talking to us, which will be very exciting. And then we also have our industry networking speaker series. So what we do is we pick a trade of interest, and then we have people come online and talk about the work that they do. Because we can give you advice, but it's always so great to actually hear it from these employers and these people actually working in the trade. And they can also answer really specific questions that you might have about the trade. And that's also on our website. If you also just go to news and events, you can see all the different things that we're doing there. And I do have my email up on the screen. If you make an account, you have any issues getting connected with one of our team, you can always just email me directly and I'll be more than happy to help you. But something else I forgot to mention that I did want to mention. I said that the only requirement to be on our website is uploading that resume, which is true. But also you do need to be on track to graduate because we want to help you find a job as soon as possible. So if you're on track to graduate this semester, you can make an account now. Usually our rule is 2 months before graduation is when you can make an account. So if for any chance someone's in grade 11 on the call, you can't make an account yet, it will be next year when you are about to graduate, when you can start working with us. So thank you so much for having me on the call.
Thank you, Emily. Appreciate it very much. Appreciate your energy and hearing once again about ApprenticeSearch.com, such a great resource. It can be difficult to find that apprenticeship position, obviously, so it's excellent that there's an organization out there providing that service. Thank you so much for sharing about that. Last speakers coming up here next. We're pleased to welcome to the camera Cidalia Taggart, Student Achievement Consultant with the Waterloo Catholic District School Board, and David Pope, the Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program Coordinator with the Waterloo Region District School Board. Welcome, Dave and Cidalia. Happy to hear what you folks have to share as well.
Thank you, Scott. I guess I'll start. Welcome, everyone. This has been a very informative session, and I hope you've been taking notes, but also a lot of this information will be emailed to you, so you will have all the email contacts to follow up with. On our end, as OYAP recruiters, we would like to remind you about record keeping as you are leaving secondary school. So you've probably been compiling a great deal of files about, for example, your experience or certifications you've taken or co-op related documentation. We really want to emphasize that it's important that you back up all your information, save it onto a personal drive so that you have access to those files upon completing high school, because at the end of June, when you're no longer a secondary school student, then those files won't be available to you. So the files that are important for continuing on with for having information about your apprenticeship or for hopefully being able to show your work experience through co-op is downloading your weekly logs, either from Our Republic or if you have a printed version of those weekly logs. It's important to have those records because it can demonstrate the skills and the abilities that you've completed during your co-op placement, and it can show the level of experience that you've been able to acquire. So download your weekly logs, keep a record of those. Also, also your co-op work hours. Make sure that you have a record of that at the end of your co-op placement. You will receive an OYAP certificate showing the trade code that you were in, the employer, and the number of hours you completed in co-op. That certificate is very important. You should definitely keep that very safe. If you receive a hard copy of that, make sure you take a picture and file it away, because you will need that if you're trying to value those hours in that trade, and potentially one day convincing an employer who is apprenticing you that you have completed that many hours in that trade. The other thing that you should keep is all records of your certifications. If you've completed Working at Heights, any other certifications through SHSM, keep all of your certificates. Some of them are valid for 3 years. Others are only valid for 1 year. But it's always great to keep a record of all of that so that you can, number one, include all of that information on your resume if you are applying to new jobs come the summer and the fall. It's great to show all of the efforts that you've made to show readiness for employment, and that you are well versed in all the requirements needed to go into the skilled trades. And so keep a record of those certificates and also include those on your resume. Also, if you are in co-op right now and you are leaving your co-op term, make sure that you speak to your supervisor or the owner about becoming a reference for you, because that can also be very valuable on your resume if they can write you a letter of recommendation, or if they can simply if they could be a reference for you. You're going to have to provide some of those for your resume building. So ask them in advance and let them know what your future plans are. If you're in co-op right now and you don't have a training agreement yet, and you're in a location that you love and you've had a successful co-op term, then approach your supervisor or the person who is in charge to let them know what your intentions are, that you plan on continuing with this trade, and that you're hopeful that you can find someone to apprentice you, and that you're looking for full-time employment, because they might be ready to take on someone like you, someone they've trained, someone they know, and they can see potential in you. So I'll let Dave talk about other next steps that you should keep in mind, and then at the end we'll take any questions.
All right, thank you, Cidalia. So there's multiple pathways into skilled trades in post-secondary. And so I just want to talk about a few different options just so you're aware of kind of some choices you might be thinking about as you're getting closer to graduation. So the most common pathway into an apprenticeship is direct marketing to local employers and trying to find somebody willing to sign you as an apprentice. That is the most common and probably the best way to try and find that apprenticeship, but it can also be difficult, which is why we have Starling and ApprenticeSearch.com here to provide you with other resources and other folks to help you. Because when you graduate from high school, you lose access to your guidance counselors, your OYAP recruiter, your teachers. So all those folks that are supporting you currently, they're kind of your next step people if you're struggling to find those local connections. So again, direct marketing is a great way to go. Also looking at, they're called group sponsors. So Merit Ontario, Support Ontario Youth are examples of group sponsors where they might be an organization that deals with multiple trades, and they also sign apprentices, and then they find placements for you as well. So those are good options. And then trade unions. So there's many local trade unions in each region where, again, you can apply directly to a trade union where they can sign and hire apprentices as well. So just between direct marketing, looking for group sponsors or trade unions are great options out there to help you. There are some other options as well to consider. So I always preface this with anything you do before signing a training agreement is delaying your apprenticeship. So you will find that there's lots of pre-apprenticeship programs out there. Some of those programs may be free because they're government sponsored. I wouldn't recommend pre-apprenticeship programs unless you feel like you need more practice before you go do. So if you already have a training agreement from a co-op employer, then that is the end goal. You already have that, especially if you can continue with them. So there's no need to do a pre-apprenticeship program. Also, there are some pre-apprenticeship programs that are charging a whole lot of money for a bunch of training that you would normally get from a regular employer. So make sure you're doing your research, and maybe if you're thinking of doing a program, again, maybe reach out to Starling and ask them, have you heard of this program? What do you think of it? again, connecting with one of those career counselors would probably help you out to make the right decision. And then there's also the college pathway. So some students may choose to do a college program before starting their apprenticeship, and there's nothing wrong with that. I recommend the college pathway for students that want more practice before they go do. So maybe they didn't take co-op, maybe they didn't take a lot of tech courses, and they want some more in-class type learning before they actually go learn on the job. The idea of an apprenticeship is to do 90% of your learning on the job while you're getting paid. So if you are choosing college first, you're delaying starting that apprenticeship. But if that's the training that you would like to get, then there's nothing wrong with that. I also recommend that, again, maybe if you've gone out, you've tried marketing, you've tried looking at group sponsors, you've tried looking at trade unions, and you can't find a job, then maybe going into a college program, coming out with something extra on your resume might be helpful to you as well. Just another thing to think about, especially if you're thinking the trade union route, is many fundamentals and techniques courses at colleges may list in their course description that you get some of your level training as part of that course. Many trade unions don't accept that level training. So electrical would be a good example, is if you end up doing an electrical techniques program where they state that you're getting your level 1 as part of that course. If you're thinking of applying to the IBW, they won't accept that level training and you will have to do level 1 after anyway. So if you're going to be doing the college pathway, just make sure, if you kind of know where you think you're going to work, check with those employers or check with those unions first to see if they accept that type of training. If it's not just a focused level 1 apprenticeship course, if it's a fundamentals or techniques course, they may be rejected by a trade union that they don't accept that form of training. So just putting that out there so you are aware. For students that got a signed training agreement during co-op during the school year, you will be getting a Google form link from either Ms. Taggart or myself for you to provide us some extra information as to your intentions after you graduate. So we're going to find out if you're continuing with your employer or if you are switching employers or what your next steps are. And we will make sure that your information in the ministry database is up to date. And we will provide the specific next steps for you so that you have a seamless transition into your regular apprenticeship from OYAP. Any student that is graduating and pursuing a skilled trade, so pursuing an apprenticeship, should create their account on the skilledtradesontario.ca website. So Skilled Trades Ontario, they are the kind of overseers of all apprenticeships in Ontario. They have a portal, so you'll see if you go to the skilledtradesontario.ca website, you'll see that there's a portal login in the top right-hand corner. You can click on it and click create your account. You may find that when you create your account, so you put in all your information, as kind of mentioned earlier, make sure you're using your personal email address, not your school email address. But you might find that once you create your account, you're in there and there's like no options for you. Some of that stuff will be activated once we've completed you an OYAP. So there might be some things that don't show up right away, but just having your account there and set up is the first step. And then once you're signing a training agreement with a local employer, or if we're transitioning you from OYAP into a regular apprenticeship, certain functionality will be enabled once that transition has happened. So we will work with you to kind of help get some of that set up. But if you are, again, you don't have a training agreement, but you're going to sign one in the future with an employer, having that account set up already is going to save you time and make things a little bit easier. And then, like I said, some stuff might not show up. It might look like you've created an account, but there's nothing there. That will come as certain things are on our side of things get checked off and we help you get to that next step. The only other thing I'll recommend is just so you're aware of it. So Skilled Trades Ontario is, again, the governing agent for apprenticeships in Ontario. If you are calling Skilled Trades Ontario, some of the folks that are answering the phones there are newer employees who are still getting trained. We've experienced some issues where students have been given incorrect information, and sometimes we do our best to try and help get you the right information. So if you are calling, just make sure that double check the information that's given to you just to make sure it's accurate. You can always reach back to us and we can try and help you out if needed to. Or again, Starling or Apprentice Search are also helpful resources just to confirm that the information is correct that you're getting. Because like I said, there's a decent number of new employees there that are not always giving 100% correct information. So just making sure you're aware of that. I think that's everything I wanted to mention. So if we want to move on to the Q&A, let's do that.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, so just a reminder to everybody, it's been mentioned a couple times, but if you have questions, you can type them into the Q&A button in Zoom here. So it won't let you turn on your mic or anything like that, but type them in if you have them. Lots has been shared, really interesting insights, opportunity to look under the hood, so to speak. So it can be a bit of a complicated system. So really good that you guys understand, there are people here in your corner, help you navigate this, and you can do it. Just requires you to, as said, get informed, use your resources. And now if you didn't, you know a few more than you did before. And if you're having questions about it, digesting some of what you heard, it's a great time to let us know. We'll give a couple minutes. I see, did someone put a hand up? Is that you, Dave? Dave
Yes,
Pope
it
raised.
is. Yes, I did. I just figured, well, people are typing. I will mention, so it was kind of brought up before by, I think it was Nicole or Emily, is there are a lot of skilled trades that are out there. So again, you might only know some of them. I will say, I normally say there's 144 apprenticeable trades in Ontario. There's actually going to be a change coming. So there's going to be 126 apprenticeable trades in Ontario. But make sure you do your research. As mentioned, there are many similar trades. So you might, so a lot of students maybe think electrical is the only thing I want, but there is 3 types of electricians. So again, knowing that there's 3 types and what the difference are. If you have a specific sector you're thinking of, so if it's a construction sector, look at the other jobs that are out there because there are some similarities between them. And the ones that are lesser known are the ones that are probably easier to get in. So again, if you're thinking electrician, but like the IBW, for example, has about 500 applicants for 16 spots when they have an intake. Again, power line technician is a fantastic, high-paying job as well. Very similar work in different aspects. So just something to think about. Spend your time, do some career research, and realize that there's other options that are related that will give you great experience.
You're here. So any of the other presenters want to share any other passing bits of advice that other maybe you heard something and it's bringing up another thought for you that you want to share while students formulate any final questions? Cidalia, I saw your mic come off.
So on that note of Dave saying that we're going to be sending out a form to gather your next steps, where you intend to go in after high school, I also want to remind you that checking your email on a regular basis is really important. And the form that you will receive is going to ask for information, and we are going to help you with next steps. But if you don't respond to the form, then we won't be able to help you. So make sure that you're checking your email. Check your junk folder just in case something is in there. And if you have other friends who are in level 1 or in a union program and you have access and you're able to also ask them to check their email, that would be great, because I noticed that we don't have as many attendees here tonight as we were hoping for. So there are a lot of students who are maybe not checking their email and didn't get the invitation. So it's important to do that to make sure you stay in the loop.
Yep, and a great segue into sort of my parting words here, if there's nothing else from the others, which is that there will be an email sent out to those of you who are listening and everyone who registered with a recording of the session, with some of the links to resources that you saw or the organizations that you heard about. So if you're wanting to reference this again and you're saying, gee, I didn't remember it, what did Dave say about that apprenticeable trades? How many are there? Which one did he recommend? It will be there for you, available for you to access again, as long as you're checking that email. So I see no other questions coming in, no other people turning off their mics. So as we wrap this session up, I'd like to thank all of our partners, presenters, and everyone for being here. To the students watching, we want to thank you very much, of course, for your attention, your time. We want to congratulate you for your participation in OYAP, naturally. We want to wish you success on your next steps, and we hope that what you learned today is going to help you navigate those next steps. Again, expect an email from us within a week or so. That wraps up today's event. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. Goodbye and good luck.